I have a Samsung S3510 laptop. It's not a bad computer, but it dates back to 2011, so it's getting on a bit, and I'm going to improve the performance of it. This is it. It's got a Celeron T3500 processor, and I'm going to put a Core 2 Duo T9300 in it, which is just one down from the most powerful one, I think, that are fit in this. A T9500 is probably the best one you can put in it, but one of those will cost you 20 to 30 quid, I should think, second hand, whereas this one, the T9300, was about 12 or 14 quid, can't remember now, but for just a few quid it improves the performance of it quite a bit. So first of all, we've got to take this apart, and to get to the processor we've got to take it all apart. You've got to remove the keyboard and the circuit board itself, so you've got to take the whole lot apart to get to it. Well, I'll make a start on it, and you can see how it goes. It's probably worth it though. There are other things you can do to improve it. Later on it's already got maximum memory, which is 4 gigs, but I'll be taking out the DVD and putting that into a separate case and replacing that with a hard drive, probably an SSHD. So we'll have a 500 gig or 480 gig SSD in it, plus a 500 gig SSHD, which I think I've got knocking around somewhere. And another thing is you can add Bluetooth just by taking out the wireless card and fitting a more up-to-date one in, an Intel 7000. I can't remember the number of it now, but there's several that do the job. It'll have the ability to receive 5 gig wireless as well as Bluetooth, and it's worth doing. If you load Windows 10 onto it, it really runs smoothly compared to Windows 7. Anyway, let's get on with it, taking it apart. I'll put this mouse pad on there because that will protect it to some extent from getting scratched on the lid. Right, here we go. Screwdrivers. Take out the battery. Now, you have to take everything out. You have to unscrew everything So this is where the memory's kept, under here. That just there is the wireless card. It is possible to remove that without taking anything else out. You just unplug those two wires there, which I think you can see, and I'm not sure now. I'll show you later on when we come to it, but it just comes out. I think you can just hook it out with a screwdriver in that little hole there and pull it. Right, hard drive. Two tiny screws for the hard drive cover. Right, the hard drive cover slides towards you and lifts up. The hard drive itself should have this tab on it, and you just pull that and lift it out. You need this bit. When you put another hard drive in, you unscrew that, screw it to another drive, put it back in. This screw here, you unscrew that one, and that enables you to pull out the DVD. Now these are all the same thread. There's the DVD. You just pull that out. Now, all these screws around the edge come out. Now that the DVD's out, there's a couple of tiny screws in the edge there which you have to take out as well. That's these. That one. They're the only silver screws you need to take out. There's two of those. There's one there and there's one there. Right. Now all the screws are out, but we have to release the keyboard before we go any further. And to do that, there's a little clip behind F8. And you put a screwdriver in there and just move the clip backwards a bit, and then that allows you to get the keyboard up. But you don't want to break the key out, be careful with that. Just lift the keyboard, get your fingernail under it, and move along a bit until you come to the next one. Which is by print screen. And then there's just a couple of little plastic bits at the edge. Once you've got it over those, it's easy. You go up the other end, there's another one by F3. You just push the clip underneath, just push it back out the way, and then you can lift the keyboard up. That's the keyboard lifted, and then just lift up this tab. That black bar, pull the keyboard connection off, put that aside, and then you have to pull out all these others, all these other plugs that are in here. Just ease them out. They're easily pulled out. You need to get this one out, just here, just pull that back, then you can slide this blue one which goes to the mouse pad. Now, this one here is a little bit difficult to pull out. But it will come out. And once you've done that, ease it off at the back. I've taken the top cover off. Now there's just one connector which I left in place, which was that one. It doesn't need to be undone to get the top off, nor does that one. But now the top is off, we need to take the circuit board out, and to take that out we have to undo these other connectors here. So I'll just pull that one off. That's that one. This one's the screen connector. If you ever get a screen problem, you might want to just have a look at that connector, pull it out and push it back. It might just be a bad connection, because they do corrode from time to time. Not very often, but they have been known to get some kind of corrosion on them and have a bad contact. Now this jack here, this is you have to do all this if you need to replace the jack for the power supply, because that's it there, right over there. And you have to unsolder that, put a new one in. If it gets broken, you've got to unsolder that, fit a new one, and everything should be okay. Now, while we're doing this, we might as well look in here and clear out any dust that's in there. But first of all, we've got to carry on getting this board out. So this one here, you can disconnect that on the board. Actually, might be best to pull it off the other way, I don't know. Probably would. So I'll pull it, you can see it because it's got a tab there that you can grab hold of and pull. So that tab was on top, so that was the last one that went in. So we'll put that one back and leave it. As long as that board's not connected to anything. Now on this board, got a few screws to undo. One. There's a couple here marked H, but you don't need to undo those. You've got that one there at the end. That's probably it. There's your BIOS battery. If you start losing settings, that's where the BIOS battery is. Just there. Now, right, we've got to unscrew this screw here, which is holding the fan in. So we've got just those two screws holding the board. And there we have it. We'll aside. There's not too much dust on this one. Nevertheless, I'm going to dust it out with a brush if I can find one. That's the fan cleaned up. Right. Now we've got to take the old CPU out, so you unplug that because you've got to lift this out as a unit. So you need to unplug the electrical connection to the fan. You unscrew these two. They're numbered, these screws, and I think that is supposed to be the sequence you use to do them up. So that's 6, that's 5, that must be 4. I'll take it out anyway. Right, they don't come right out, but that's number 4. Three is opposite corner. 2 next to that, and 1 over there. Now this will lift off. Now if you're careful, you can spread that back in there, all that heatsink compound. Can squeeze it back in there and reuse it, but I'm not going to. It's a bit crumbly around the edges now, so I'm going to wipe that off there and there, and put some new stuff on. And this is the processor here. So you undo that lock there, that locking thing there, which moves that back. That allows you to lift it out. And that's how it was. Make a note of how it was, because there's a little golden triangle in the corner there, and you've got to put the other one back in that position. The new one goes in that position, which is here. There's our new one. Put that in position. Turn that. Hold it in position, turn that and lock it. That pulls that tight into place. And now I'll clean this heatsink compound off clean that off and come back in a minute. Right, that's the CPU, that's the graphics controller. I've cleaned those off. A bit of tissue does it, but I also use just to polish it up a bit. There's a bit of lighter fluid, some of that. Anyway, that's nice and clean. So we now need some more heatsink compound. Well, the stuff I've got here I've had for years and it's always done the job for me, so I see no reason why I shouldn't use it on this. Used it on every other one that I've done. Don't need much. Just give it a dab round with my finger. It's covered the whole surface. Now this can go back. That's number one. Number two, not doing them up really tight until I've done the whole lot. 3, 4, 5, 6, go around them again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's it. Plug the fan in. Mustn't forget to plug the fan in. Then we can start putting it all back together. That's upside down. So make sure that's not in the way. just here over there there's a rubber block which blanks off an unused hole, so that falls out of place easily, so don't lose it, just make sure that stays in place. Then work this back in. That's it. Now you put these two board screws back. Wrong screwdriver. One came from there. Oh, just make sure I can get that plug. That's that one. Push this plug in as well. There's the one for the fan. The graphics. Make sure to keep that wire out of the way of anything so it doesn't get trapped. Just put that back in there like that. Tuck the graphics wire under that corner. Then we've got this this one here. Push it in up to the line and then clamp it down. And that's that. There's no more screws to hold that down. So now it's back to fitting the top. Make sure you've got all the cables there showing before you put the top down. And I'll start where the last ones to come off are the ones I'll put back first, which is this back corner. Then the sides. Put this plug in. This bit of ribbon cable. That's it. Goes back the opposite way to how it came apart. So you put the front, tuck the front in first. Before you do that, you've got to plug it in. Now that's the awkward bit. You've got to get this ribbon cable in as far as possible. There's tags on either side which stop it going too far, and then just clip the bit down. Ooh. That's it. When it's in, there should be no blue. None of the blue should be showing. You need to make sure these little tabs at the edges are actually over the edge of the actual keyboard bit itself. And that's that done. Now we can put all the screws back. Reconnect these Wi-Fi aerials on there. Bloody nuisance. Right. Now I'll start by putting these two very small keyboard screws back. Once that's done, there's two more very small ones. They're the silver ones by the edge of the board under the DVD drive. Now all we need to do is put all these others back. We've got two small ones and all the rest are the same. But the two small ones are for holding the hard drive in. All the rest of them are the same. So you might as well just start with the hinge. Or the ones at the back, not the hinge ones, but the ones next to them. But you don't want to see me doing all these up, so I'll come back in a minute when I've done them. Right, so all we've got left to do now is put the disk drive cover back, and that uses these very short screws, these tiny ones. Which go in there, the RAM cover, and that uses two standard screws like the rest of the case bottom. DVD goes in. And that's held in with the last screw in there. That's it, job's done. Battery in, turn it over. Boot it up. And there it is. And that's it. This one could do with a bit of cleaning up. Too much junk slowing it down, but SSD will sort that out nicely. It'll be real quick. Put an SSD in it, it'll be real quick. But it's a way of getting an old computer back into reasonable use. You know, might be a bit slow before, but once you change this over, you notice a difference.